What's up, you guys? I'm here at Team Symmetry, here to bring you guys the next episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Yu-Gi-Oh! And before I get into it, you guys can already see it is Lightsworn. I want to give a quick shout out to Mickey Vlogs. He sent me these two deck lists. This is the first one. This is Pure Lightsworn, and he also sent me Light Ray Sworn. I want to give a big shout out to him. This made my templates for the video that you guys see before you today. I just want to say thank you to him for sending me this information so that I could make this video for you guys today. So his channel description will be down below. You guys already know who Mickey Vlogs is. Like I've said before, if you don't know who he is, you've been sleeping under a rock. Anyways, let's get into this. So, Lightsworn. Everyone probably remembers this deck. For anyone that's ever played this game for as long as I have or remembers when this deck came out, this deck was absolutely ridiculous. The reason why it was ridiculous? This card right here. Judgment Dragon was absolutely mind-boggling. This card could just blow up the entire field relentlessly. Effect Veiler wasn't around back then. I don't think even Warning was around back then. And you literally could just... You couldn't really do anything. Like, if you didn't have, I think, Solemn Judgment, like, you lost because they summon it, they blow up everything, they attack. Not even that, but for the fact that it just destroyed everything, and it's 3,000. That was the whole thing that got me, was that its effect is amazing, but the fact that it's so hard to get over is ridiculous, because Judgment Dragon just spelled death for the opponent. Whenever this card was dropped, you knew there was you were probably pretty much lost. Now, as time has moved on, Effect Veiler and cards like Starlight Road and Huge Revolution is over, and of course Warning and other cards have come out to combat this card, I guess, and other cards. But back then, that didn't exist, and Lightsworn was a deck that I myself ran. My good friend 3Z Inferno, aka Wilson Sang, was a person who sold me this entire deck several years ago. He actually was the first person to sell me cards for competitive play. Like real competitive play, and I really do appreciate it. He gave me a really good deal on this deck. Everything was hollowed out for the most part, and it was really, really great, especially getting secret JDs because they were really hard to get even back then, because this was like the best deck. And I just wanted to say thank you to him. He probably remembers all these years, even all those years ago, selling me the deck. So I just want to say thank you to him. His channel annotation will be in the description below as well. Anyways, this deck was amazing. This deck was broken, and even now, I think the deck might have potential, and I'll explain why towards the end of this video. But let's get into this. So, what was so good about Lightsworn? Basically, back then, it was what wasn't good about Lightsworn. You had a draw card, you had 3 of them in Solar Recharge. Back then, you had 3 Charge of the Light Brigades, and I know what you guys are thinking. Imagine if Charge came to 2 or ridiculously 3 on the ban list. It's not going to happen, but if it did, imagine how ridiculous decks like Chaos Dragons, decks like this, and decks like just like any kind of version of like Lightsworn or anything that mills a lot, how broken it would be. The ability to get to your cards really, really fast is what made the deck really, really good. And I feel that it was for those reasons that the deck got hit as hard as it did when it did get hit. Charge was one of the most expensive cards back then, easily fetching $100+ a piece because it was secret, it was very hard to pull, and it literally just like, if you open Charge, Recharge, you had game. It's the same thing like with Chaos Dragons, but to a better degree because Judgment Dragon was just broken. Other things that were busted about it is that the entire Lightsworn engine, of course, all did its job that it was supposed to do. It milled cards. Lumina, Lila, Gareth, Jane, Aaron, Arcus, Raikou, you guys all know them. Wolf, you guys already know them, and you know how the deck plays. You know that Lumina is your special summoner. Garoth helps you draw more cards. Your Spell and Trap Breaker, Anything Breaker, Combo Breaker if you want to call it. This card was busted too because it was, oh god, it was ridiculous. It was up to destroy 2 cards your opponent controls. This card, like, you could top deck this, Tribute to Lightsworn, it would be busted. And you milled 4, so I mean, I've seen people mill like 4 different Lightsworns and then do this, drop JD or drop 2 JDs and just win the game right there. Like, it was insane. This card was busted as well. All these different Lightsworns, Celestia, all of them, all did what they needed to do. They got monsters to the grave. They set up for your JD plays, and it just overwhelmed the opponent because you could pretty much combat anything. Aaron could send back Sangin, Searchers, whatever. It was great. Arcus could protect your Lightsworns. Jane was great at getting over cards like Thunder King and 1900, 1800 beaters. Wolf was crazy for the fact that back then, like, people would run 2 or 3 wolves, and you'd mill a wolf, summon it. You had a 2100 beater god. You could just mill multiple wolves and attack for game just with the wolves alone. Because 2100 is so hard to get around. Think about it. Thunder King, like even after wolves out, like you summon it, it's like, oh, I can't do anything. Like it was ridiculous. A wolf was great, and they were all powered, of course, by Honest. Honest was great in the deck because you had ways of recycling Honest with Beckoning Light and other cards like that. And it it sealed game, like Honest sealed games in this deck, and that's one of the main cards I want to talk about as well. Beckoning Light made this deck really, really busted. So you would discard your entire hand, and then for each card you discarded, you'd add a light monster back to your hand. So you could discard a couple cards in your hand that you didn't want. Like if your opponent didn't have back row, you could get rid of heavy or MSTs, and you could get back like a JD. Most people would always get back JD and Honest because it was like, it's game. Like summon JD, blow up. Oh, you want to get over it? I'm an Honest. You lose. That was good. You could always get back Luminas, Lilas, etc. It was great. And I just really, really loved the deck back then. And I mean, I don't have anything against the deck. I just don't know like how effective the deck would be right now. But we'll get into that later. Other things I liked about the deck is that it was very consistent. It was very consistent in the sense that it it did what it needed to do. It milled the cards. I mean, you did kind of take a gamble with the mills, but even then, it wasn't that awful because, like I said, cards like Beckoning Light and one card I actually forgot was this card. Back then, we ran this card, Monster Reincarnation. We used this to get back Judgment Dragon and other cards because you could discard, the last Lightsworn you need, get a JD back, and then summon JD. There were a lot of combos you could do with this. You could pitch Plague Spreader, pitch Necrogardener. You could do a lot of busted combos. See, what I loved about this deck as well is that it ran Necrogardener, and this was your added defense. Like, you usually didn't run that many traps, so if you had, like, Necrogardeners and Threatening Roars, like, you could survive multiple turns without your opponent being able to do anything, and then you could summon your monsters and go for game. This was really, really great. Other things that made Lightsworn really good, BLS, of course, Chaos Usher, turning the deck into Twilight, as it's been called, running Tragodias and Gores, Lights and Dark, so that you can fuel the Chaos monsters, really added to the deck's power. A version of Lightsworn I ran was a Vayu-Sworn. I ran Blackwing Vayu and Blackwing Sirocco the Dawn, and I'd mill them, and then I think I mentioned this in my Blackwing video. I'd remove them and summon the Armed Wing and the Armor Master. That was just another take on the deck. It was fun, it was just for fun. But regular Lightsworn was really just very effective during that time. And then other things you can do is you can go the Light Ray build. Now Light Rays, I don't know that much about them. All I know is that you need to have like multiple light monsters in the graveyard with different names, and you're able to do busted combos. Diablos, you're able to banish one set card your opponent controls, reveal the target, then return the target to either the top or bottom of the deck. You could use Gearfried. Gearfried was busted. When a spell trap is activated, you could banish a warrior. Type monster from your graveyard, negate the activation. If you do, destroy all face-up monsters you control. Must be warrior type to activate and resolve this effect. Basically, these guys were just beaters, You didn't really have to use the Light Rays for their effects, but they were just beaters. And same thing with I don't even know how to pronounce that. Daedalus, I guess is how you pronounce it. And you could use Magical Merchant. That's why I threw Merchant down here. That's what Mickey had in his list that he sent me. Merchant would mill to get like a key spell card, and then you could, if you had like the Light Rays in hand, you could just summon them. Really, really busted. So it added to that element of the deck. So in a nutshell, that's what's good about the deck, is that it has a very consistent mill engine. It gets you to what you need, and you can always recycle cards back, and it can just overwhelm the opponent with attack points. So I feel that's what was good about the deck. Now, what's bad about the deck? What's bad about the deck is that there's a lot of decks these days that are running Macro, they're running D-Fissure, they're running just a lot of cards to stop the deck. Now, the quick argument is that Lila would get around all that. Back then, priority still existed. And nowadays, with priority gone, Lila can be bottomless, JD can be bottomless, Sorcerer can be bottomless, Celestia. All these cards can be like bottomless, and Celestia would still go off. But these other cards would not. These other cards would get nerfed for that effect because they were optional. And I felt that is what hurt the deck a lot, is that the ability to Valor a JD, the ability to bottomless a JD was great. It at least made it fair, because back then when you couldn't do anything to JD, you just kind of just were like, well, I tried, you got me, That's how the game went back then. But Valor really, went up in play because of the no priority thing. And that hurt Lightsworn a lot. And like I said, people using D-Fissure and Macro would just completely destroy this deck, because everything would get removed, which is not what you want at all, because you can't do any of your plays, and it would completely just shut you down. Other things is that this deck could be outsped. It was fast, but I think nowadays, like decks like Mermail Atlanteans could destroy it. I think the new Fire Fists could destroy it. Like, if they get what they need on the field before you do, they pretty much win. That's how the game is played these days. I feel that was the thing that might have made Lightsworn not that good. Now, I don't think the deck is bad at all. I think the deck just needs, it needs a format where it can reign supreme. I don't think they need to like touch any more of the cards. They don't need to bring Lumina to 3. They don't need to put they could put JD at 2. JD at 3 is a little ridiculous in my opinion. But every deck has the potential to be played. They just have to be in the correct format. And I feel that that's the thing about Lightsworn, is that they lose to a lot of just things that people are already main decking. Like if they're running Macro Rabbit, like Rabbit's gonna get around them with like Dolkas and Lances and Macros and all that, and it's just gonna wreck the deck. And I feel that's the one thing that could hurt this deck a lot. But yeah, that was what's good. That's what's bad. Now, what's the Yu-Gi-Oh part about this deck? Dun. 3 JD. Literally, you could summon one JD, blow up, summon another JD, and attack for 9,000 per game. That happens, you guys. It happens a lot more than you think. Like, I've seen Lightsworn players that played this deck even just for fun, and I'll see them drop multiple JDs per game. Like, you can constantly drop JD. It was just like, I got 4 different Lightsworns. Okay, summon JD, blow up, boom, you're dead. That was the thing that made this deck absolutely just like Yu-Gi-Oh-tastic. Like, it was absolutely ridiculous. The ability to just blow up everything. Like, it was like a demise effect, but you didn't have to pay the life points. You only had to pay 1,000, and it was just like, boom, everything's gone. What do you do then? And I feel that is what made the deck amazing. But anyways, comment below with what you guys think. Do you guys think that the format will call again for Lightsworn to be really good? Do you think that Konami may bring Lumina to 3, may try to bring the deck back? Do you think that the deck is done? Do you think that maybe it's just not going to come back? I really don't know, since I haven't really played the deck or really researched the deck recently, but I just wanted to make this video for you guys. So once again, shout out to Mickey for hooking me up with the template for this, and shout out to my friend Wilson for selling me the deck, bringing back the memories of this deck, and I hope that you guys will, comment below with what you guys honestly think of Lightsworn. Talk about your most dreaded Lightsworn memory. I'm sure it had to do with Judgment Dragon, because this card was the nuts. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thumbs it up, and let me know what you guys want to see on the next episode. People are saying to me to do anti-meta. I'm not 100% sure like what variant of that you want. There's multiple builds that run, of course, the Thunder Kings, the Doom Cows, the Fossil Dynas, all that. But if you guys want to come up with a really specific build, let me know in the comments, or message me on Facebook and let me know what you guys want to see. Like, give me a general idea, and I'll be sure to bring that deck on the next episode here. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Thumbs it up, and thank you for enjoying the video. So that's all I got to say, you guys. Thank you for watching.